Good evening and welcome to the Speaker MC Show. Today's topic is I'm a vegan, food as an information source. And you are going to be so informed by the time you leave this discussion this evening. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We have some fabulous guests to introduce you to. And guess what? Both of them are vegans. Yes, yes. So it's going to be an amazing show. In case you've never been here, this is what you can expect. We're going to do a brief overview of what the show is, what you can expect our discussion will be around. Then we'll take a little break, and then we'll come back and say hi to our guests. We'll meet our guests, and then we'll start our discussion on the topic. And we'll break with a word from our sponsors, then we'll come back and we will chat in depth with our guests. Any questions you may have, just raise your hands and our guests will answer them. Then we'll say bye-bye and we'll see you next time. Fair enough? Okay. So here's what the show is all about. What's a vegan? Well, what's a vegan? I mean, there's so many definitions, but I'll show you the definition that I eked out for you. Well, this lady's eating chicken. Is she a vegan? And this lady's trying to decide chicken or broccoli. But is it just what you eat? No. A person who does not eat or use animal products, now that's a vegan. This gentleman here showing off his sporty leather jacket, I don't think he's a vegan, unless that was plastic or something. So we don't know. If this is your first time at the Speaker MC Show, well, the Speaker MC Show is 60 minutes. 60 minutes of non-scripted conversation with me, your host, and two guests, talking about relationships, how we relate to ourselves, our environment, and to each other. And our intention with the show is for our audience, for you to be empowered in knowing how to create harmonious environments and boosting your self-confidence. And for our guests, we provide a platform and an opportunity to share their message. And for everyone, it's just about having fun. So we're going to discuss what's a vegan, how being a vegan affects our relations with ourselves and with each other, and what else do we need to know about veganism? Because I found that there's so many layers to this veganism. And what inspired me was for the past 19 days out of 21, I decided to detox. And I have been on this raw foods diet. Yes, yes, yes. Nice detox, but it's excruciating because I love my hot food. I love my peppers, hot sauce and all that. Well, raw food diet means combining these foods and it not touching any kind of hot temperature. Yeah, you got to eat it at room temperature. Salads and carrots and oranges, fruits and vegetables. Well, did you know that food is information? Yes, you have some foods that are medicinal and you should eat them sparingly, like the oils. And then you have some foods that, not only the oils, but the herbs and the seaweed and the wheatgrass. I hear people taking a shot of wheatgrass like twice a day. Ooh, isn't that too much? And then you have the amino acids that you should eat moderately, like the nuts and the flax and the legumes and the sprouts. And then you have the fruits and vegetables and the leafy greens that they tell you all the time. Eat lots and lots and lots of it. So I've been learning. What my biggest takeaway, though, was don't mix the melons. Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway. Don't mix the melons whatsoever because they digest differently. Who knew? Not me. And if we have time, we will delve into the pineal gland. Yeah. Do you know what the pineal gland is? Yeah, we're going to talk about that and the effects of it. That's if we have a little bit of time. So right now, we're going to take a pause for the cause and get a word from our sponsors. Okay, and welcome back. We are back on the Speaker MC Show. And if it's your first time joining our Speaker MC Show, well, we are now at the point where we're going to say hi to our guests. Speaker MC Show, where it's all about relationships, how we relate to ourselves and to each other and to our environment. And today our topic is I'm a vegan. So now we are going to say hello to our two phenomenal guests. Yes! Our first guest is Goddess Annika. Goddess Annika hails from the Atlanta, Georgia area, and her area of expertise is alchemical coaching. I said that wrong. Alchemical coaching. That's right. Get it right. Goddess Annika Ford is the founder of Goddess Evolution, which is a movement designed to provide women with practical tools and resources that will support them in giving birth to their supreme destiny that awaits them. Goddess Annika, can you just say hello?
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Welcome. We are so honored that you are here on the Speaker MC Show today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. And our next guest is another phenomenal woman. That's right. She is the one and only Miss Margaret Babb. Margaret is the creator of Nature Shore's professional care products. And Margaret hails from the Brooklyn, New York area. That's right. Nature Shore personal care products. And her area of expertise is holistic lifestyle. Margaret says, for 35 years, I have had an interest in health awareness, especially eating habits. And more recently, I've expanded my interest to include personal care products. Margaret, say hello to our guests.
Hello, hello, hello.
So honored that you are here, Margaret. Yes.
Yes.
And in case you're wondering, who is that crazy lady in the hat? Well, that's me. I'm your host, Speaker MC, and I'm a speaker and sexual wellness consultant. And my area of expertise is working with women who are lonely in their relationships to go from sexless to steamy. That's right. That's what I do, because my mission is to reduce the world's divorce rate by 50%. And that's why I created S.W.E.L.L. for women, S.W.E.L.L. for women, because I saw people just jumping in and exchanging DNA and not asking the right questions. And then they're subjecting the rest of us to all their dysfunctions. That's not fair. Well, not only do I produce this show, the Speaker MC Show, which is all about relationships, that explores how we relate to ourselves and our environment and to each other, I also produce and host a few shows that share my message about sexuality and female empowerment, which is S.W.E.L.L. Happy Hour, the S.W.E.L.L. Playroom, and the Bush is Swelling Show. And all three concentrate on shifting how we think about sex and sexuality. That's right. So now let's delve into tonight's topic. Annika, are you there? I'm a vegan. Food as an information source. Let's talk about that. Now let's stop sharing, stop the share, and let's go big. Go big or go home. So ladies, welcome to the Speaker MC Show, and thank you both for being here. I see we have a guest online here, so maybe she'll have a question later on. But let's talk about veganism. What exactly does that mean to you guys? Because I'm not a vegan, and I know you both are vegans, right?
Yes.
Well, as for me, I have practiced veganism and I've also practiced vegetarianism. So I vacillate, but I do have an experience. I have experience with veganism. Yes.
Okay. Well, what got me not to be a vegan? Because years ago, I met a gentleman, And, everything seemed to be going fine until one day I wore some leather pants and he's like, oh, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, I'm a vegan. I don't eat meat. I don't wear meat. I don't sleep on meat. I'm like, you're going a little bit too far there. And if you don't sleep on meat, then I exit. So we haven't dated ever since. But his thing was that there were certain sheets that he had to sleep on and certain clothing that he had to wear. Is this predominant of all vegans, Annika? Like a silk shirt. Can't you wear a silk shirt? I mean, it's made by a silkworm.
Well, for me, this journey is very new. I started off with vegetarianism. So I started off with pescatarianism. Let me start there. And then that's when I evolved into vegetarianism. And this year I moved into veganism. And what I can say is veganism is a very personal journey. People have all sorts of reasons as why they dive into it. What I know personally for me in terms of being a vegan, it's helping me to evolve spiritually a lot. And one of the things that, and I'm not saying I'm going to be a vegan forever. I just know that this is what's working for me right now. And the reason why I say that it's helping me to evolve spiritually is because what I realize is that a lot of times when I come across people who are vegan, they may have a sense of, I might be more spiritual or more this or more that than you because you eat this or you wear this or you sleep on this. So I found that in the community of veganism that it's a lot of judgment. I've witnessed, and I can't say it to everybody, but I've just witnessed that people can be very, very judgmental and start looking at people a certain kind of way based on the types of food that they eat. But I just believe that veganism, just like anything else, is a personal movement, and it's what your own intention is behind it. So for the young man, you were talking about, it sounds like he was very, very strict with it. And I have no judgment about that. But I know that just because a person wear leather or whatever the case may be, I honor that within them. And if that's what they want to do, then that's them. I just know that for me, at this particular junction in my life, veganism is what's currently working for me. So that's the main thing. It's helping me to evolve spiritually.
So I appreciate that because I just thought he was being a little bit too controlling. Want to tell me what to wear. No. But let's find out what are the different levels, because that's another thing that I'm learning. You mentioned pescatarianism. I thought that was a religion at first. You have pescatarian, then you have vegetarian, and then you have vegan. Are there any more? Do they have the milkatarians? I mean,
no, it's called ovo-lacto, or you can have ovo-lacto. That means ovo-lacto. You can use eggs and cheese, or you have ovo only, or cheese, or lacto only. Those are different, but that's different levels of vegetarianism. Ovo-lacto, yes.
Okay.
But there's, go ahead.
So, okay, let me just wrap my brain around it. So you have ovo-lacto, you have lacto, you have pescatarian.
Pescatarian, yes. Pescatarian means that they will eat fish only. When I say fish only, fish are not beef or chicken.
Right.
Okay, but they'll eat shrimp.
Some people eat shrimp, some may not.
So is there a pesco shrimpatarian?
No, I think probably shrimp may fall under the pescatarian.
So I'm not trying to make light of it. Understand that I am totally ignorant to the levels of veganism, because look at me, I was mixing melons and berries, and I was told you don't mix melons.
But you're not the only one, because that's I wouldn't say it's a secret, but that's not a very popular way of eating your fruits. Many people still do not know that. And in addition, many people do not know that you're supposed to eat your fruits on an empty stomach. You do not use fruits as a dessert. Fruits on an empty stomach. Again, that is part of the whole thing. So you use your fruits first, especially like in the morning. Fruits are cleansers. So you tend to use your fruits more in the morning as opposed to later on in the evening or at nights.
Yes, yes, yes. This little manual here, this is the detox thing. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, I see
full
it.
body cleanse. This is the thing that I went on, and I'm telling you, I learned so much just from this little booklet that I was like, huh, really? I'm not supposed to do that? Because everything that I have been doing, and I've been on a lot of diets, right, for one reason or another, and none of them imparted this kind of information that you should not mix proteins with certain carbs and all this. They went deep. I mean, when I say they went deep, they excavated everything that I thought I knew about food being informative. So, Annika, you said that this is a personal journey for you, and it's a spiritual journey. I hope later on we can get to the pineal gland, because that's another thing that I find is a spiritual gateway, you know, and not many people know about the pineal gland. But, excuse me, how can being a vegan now influence your relationships? Because being a vegan, I mean, there's certain things that you can't eat when you go out to eat or when you go socializing with your friends. There's certain things that you will not partake of. Am I correct?
Yes. What I found is this has empowered me to be more creative with my food choices. And it's also empowered me to be a lot more expansive with what I eat and how I eat it. And, you know, I consider myself to be an artist in a lot of different ways. However, veganism has really opened up the door for me to be an artist with food. Even an artist with wine, and I know that may sound a little different, but it just, you know, it's I found that it was really easy to, you know, put some meat in a pan and fry it up or bake it, and, you know, fix a potato and load it with cream cheese and butter and all that kind of this stuff was easy because you just put it in a pot and fry it, and you know what I mean. But when you become a vegan, you have to really be conscious, and you have to be present, and you have to be aware of what you're actually putting in your body. You know, that's what I found for me. So because of that, it is really helping me to expand my consciousness and elevate spiritually, because it allows me to be more present with what I choose to eat. So when I go out with my friends, what I have been able to do is, like, I went to Papa Do's, which is a restaurant here in Metro Atlanta area, and they specialize in seafood. And it was my sister's birthday, and she loved Papa Do's. And so I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take you because I know that's what you like. So when I went there, they didn't have a lot in terms of vegan options, but what I had to do was ask the server, you know, what are some things that you all can be creative to help me to eat so I can still enjoy this meal with my sister. And they went in and they fixed this amazing vegetable meal. I mean, it had, I guess they put in every last vegetable that they had in the restaurant. I mean, it was like, it was so pretty. It just, I mean, colorful and everything. And it was really delicious. And so I was like, you know what? This is what's up. So what I found a lot of times, most restaurants, they don't want to lose out on that sale. So sometimes they would even be a lot more adventurous with what they have to offer. And a lot of times they really want to be accommodating to their guests. So they'll go back and the chef, I'm sure they've had that opportunity before to fix a vegan meal. So a lot of times the chef will even be, you know, just accommodating, to say the least, to prepare something for us. So I have found that even though I'm vegan and even though people don't eat what I eat, that there's still a lot of opportunity for to enjoy food even as a vegan when you're out in public. You just have to ask.
Well, you know, I must say, the other day I had some vegan cake. It was Margaret's birthday, and Margaret's in a club that I'm with. and it was her birthday, and we were honoring her birthday, and she's a vegan and, well, vegetarian. I'm sorry, vegan vegetarian.
That's fine.
You don't eat meat. So her friend made a cake, and I'm telling you, it was so delicious. And usually when I eat cake, I am allergic to egg yolk. Latent discovery. And every time I eat some kind of baked good, I find myself mucused, and can't breathe. And I did not get that reaction whatsoever after eating that cake. And it was delicious. You couldn't tell me that there was no sugar and there was no egg, and it was delicious. Delicious. So I do get that. But the other thing that I've also heard why a lot of people tend to shy away from meat products or meat byproducts or meat meals or whatever is that from a spiritual perspective, the spirit of the animal that they used. Have you heard that, Margaret?
I've heard it, but that's not my level of veganism. I'm on a different, I practice it for more dietary reasons. And as Annika said, it's an individual thing. And if that's how some people choose to go, that's fine. But that's not my level. But I've heard about it, though. I did. I have heard.
Okay. Yeah, because that's something that a lot of people say. And then the other thing, too. Now, for this diet that I was doing, sorry, not a diet, but this cleanse that I was doing, I had to stick to organic and fresh and eat clean. I've heard that saying so often. I got to eat clean. I got to eat clean. My thing is, they can put anything on the labels these days. They can say anything is organic. They can say anything is grade A. I've seen some restaurants here in New York where they're like, oh yeah, rated A. And you go in there and you're like, this must have been a blind inspector because I don't know how they graded you A. But notwithstanding that anything can be bought, how can we be sure that what we are getting is what they say we're getting? Because, I mean, you can put anything on the labels, You, Margaret.
Sorry. Sorry. But yes and no. I agree that the FDA is not as strict as they're supposed to be. So therefore, some things get away. However, recently, because of the consumer being more aware to that, I do not think that they are, there are different levels of organic. You can only say organic if it meets a certain standard. So many companies now who claim that they are organic are actually going there or reaching there, because if not, they can have that taken away from them, that certification taken away from them. So,
but they can just buy it back, can't they?
No, you have to reach, but you have to go. They have to be recertified. You have to be recertified.
Okay.
But it's not as easy. For some companies, it's not as easy as that. And I tell you, and I know because even in the personal care product section, the FDA can be pretty slack. And I'm sure you've heard of that too, and you have heard of that too. But are there some other things when it comes to eating that they're not as slack as they are in other sections? So you have to know, like there was an article I read recently concerning, I don't know if I can say this, but Whole Foods, that they saw that the foods were organic. You have organic this and California blend being made in China. And you're wondering, okay, how people just cannot comprehend organic vegetables and fruits coming from China.
All the way from China.
And they did a big research on it. And Whole Food, I can't remember. I don't want to say this, but I don't think they actually spoke to the reporter concerning why so much of their foods, quote unquote, labeled organic was coming from China. So it's something that the FDA still has to work on. They're not where they should be. Let me put it that way. So yes, you're right. And there's some foods that claim to be organic that you really do not need organic. per se. For instance, some fruits already have their natural insect protection. Let's say this is a citrus. Let's say a grapefruit.
Mm-hmm.
That thick skin, that comes out, the oil that comes out, exactly. That's a natural protector. However, take for instance something like a strawberry or berries.
Mm-hmm.
Those things, strawberries and berries, you should use organic. In fact, I think there's a dirty dozen that you should look at. You ever heard of it? The dirty dozen?
The dirty dozen. No.
Yes. Like tomatoes, that should be bought organic. Think about it. The skin, you want to eat the whole tomato. There's nothing to peel.
But actually, they're making a lot of these things in the labs. The tomato, I know years ago they were saying that they had the lab tomatoes and all these seedless fruits, like seedless grapes. I mean, anything that you eat should have some kind of a seed.
Thank you. That's why I do not buy seedless grapes, seedless watermelon, seedless anything. It's supposed to have
wingless chicken.
Well, okay, right. So that's it for me, though, as far as those things are concerned. Yes.
And Annika, getting back to the spiritual aspect of it, and I think you might have mentioned this with me, that certain animals, depending on how they were killed and how they were brought to the forefront to get their produce and their meat. Now, I go to the supermarket and I love shrimp. I mean, notwithstanding there are a lot of people that may not like shrimp, but I love me some shrimp. And every time I check the packages, I see farm raised, farm raised, farm raised. So I asked the attendant, and I said, well, do you have anything else besides farm raised shrimp or farm raised anything? And they're like, no, that's all we sell, farm raised. Okay. So how do you get away from that? Because I'm pretty sure they're not the only chain that is just selling the farm raised stuff. And I'm pretty sure their meats, well, they don't have an organic section for their meats, but even so, when you go to a butcher, who's to say that the butcher is selling you something where the meat, you know, they were
grass-fed
and grass-fed and all this kind of stuff? How do we know? How do we know? And what effect does that have on your spiritual gateway?
Well, for me, you just don't know. And for me, I just didn't want to take that risk anymore. And I watched a couple of documentaries, one called What the Hell, and the other one was called Earthling. And there's so many different documentaries out there that talks about and address cruelty to animals and what a lot of the big businesses are doing to help accelerate the growth of animals and how they are injecting them with hormones and, you know, all of these toxicities. And, you know, when we choose to ingest those animals, which are dead, you know, what I've learned on my journey is that when I'm ingesting and eating something that's dead, then that's actually becoming a part of me. I feel as though I'm deadening myself. That, you know, all of the molecules and the atoms and the cells of our being gets infused with the cells and molecules of that animal. And so I've also heard too that, you know, animals, they have feelings just like we do. You think about a dog or a cat or whatever, and when they're in pain, we know it, they let us know it. And it's the same thing with a cow or a pig or fish. They have sensories, they have organs, they have nerves. Right. Yeah, they have nerves. So they oftentimes they feel that pain. And for me, I just have chosen not to be a contribution to the pain of another living being, because I really feel as though that when I am actually eating something that's dead and died a very violent death, that it actually comes integrated as a part of my being. And it took me a long time to get to this place, I'm not gonna lie. But it really took me looking at those documentaries for me to understand the gravity of what happens to the body when we eat meat. And I have loved ones that have diabetes. And for the longest, they were telling us that, you know, eating all of the sugar and the carbs and this, that, and the third was really contributing to a lot of the onset of type 2 diabetes. And as I began to watch these documentaries about the impact, the negative impact of meat, what I found, and these documentaries, they talk about it too, is that when you eat a lot of meat, that also contributes to the elevation and the onset of diabetes. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I can't go in and talk about why it does that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that one of my loved ones who had a high A1C, and we couldn't get it to go down for nothing. But when my loved one adopted this veganism, plant-based diet, their A1C was able to finally drop down. And this was a loved one that was on metformin and was on Lipitor and all of these other medications for diabetics. But it was the food, the meat, that was the actual contribution to the lowering of the A1C. And so I just found that a lot of times the food industry have not been telling the truth for a lot of us.
Hello.
And a lot of things that we have learned growing up is really, I've learned that I'm having to unlearn a lot of the things because they have not told us the truth. And a lot of times they haven't told us the truth because it involves them making a lot of money.
Definitely.
And they make the money, the pharmaceutical companies make the money, the insurance companies make the money, and all of these large businesses are making money. I was reading something and they were saying that the CEO of Humana and Kaiser and Aetna and all of these healthcare insurance companies, their annual salary could be anywhere from $1 million to $5 million annually.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, wow. So, that just goes to show that their business in the healthcare industry, not for everybody, because I'm not generalizing, but what I am saying is this, is that a lot of times their business is in the business of us getting sick and sicker, because at the end of the day, that's how doctors make their money. Doctors don't make money to keep people healthy. Doctors make money to keep people medicated and in the hospitals. And so I just know that for me, I have to take responsibility for my health. And true enough, I can't guard against everything because they'll say something is organic and it may not necessarily be organic, and they're doing it because they want to make a lot of money and all of that. But I know that I can't get caught up in all of that because I would go crazy trying to figure out, oh my God, should I eat this? Should I not eat that? And I just cannot consume my life with, being obsessive about what I eat. Although what I have chosen to do is to be as mindfully present as I can be with my food choices. And then I surrender the process to spirit after that. I do the best that I can do, and then I just move the hell on because I have too many other things in my life to do to be worried about, all of this. I just can't. So that's how I live.
Well, I like that explanation because I concur with all of that. And that's the reason why I continue to eat. I don't eat chicken because I can't eat chicken either. I guess the hormones that they pack them with affects me as well. So chicken and egg yolks, not my best friends. But I will eat the bejesus out of some curry goat. And, and I will eat the hell out of some shrimp and all kinds of fish. But that's me, that's me. And then every 90 days, I'll do a detox and just detox my organs and call it a day. Because just like you, I can't be so bothered with, oh, what is this, what is that? But what did really affect me to the point of inquiry was the farm-raised fish. And from what I know about farm-raised anything, farm-raised doesn't have the same connotation today as it did years back. You wanted farm-raised, farm-raised chicken. Now, I'm from the West Indies. We had chickens and ducks and everything floating all around. You just grab them and cook them. And, they were farm-raised. They weren't hormonally affected. So then that you were eating clean. You gave them grass and you gave them grain. And that's what they fed on. They weren't as fat as these chickens over here, but they were healthy and they were delicious. Well, what has happened all them years to now is that, like you say, they're trying to kill us because doctors keep you sick so that the pharmaceuticals can keep you all zombied up, and then everybody else makes money except you. You're dying. You come with cancers and all kinds of stuff. And what I've also learned is that the more you ingest to an excess and it builds up the fat cells, that's where the toxins live.
Exactly.
So all the toxins find a nice warm blanket in those fat cells. So it's best that you just detox and get rid of them. Get rid of them. Because at the end of the day, I will not be worried if that plant was pulled up by its roots or pulled off by the leaves and said, ouch, you know, and then that's going to affect me. So, and I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just saying that when you really want to go narrow and go deep and go, you know, everything, now you have to be concerned about everything. Who got time for that? You know?
Right.
So I appreciate you saying that. And keeping on the realm, we have 2 more minutes before we take a little break. Does anyone want to touch on the pineal gland? I'm so taken with the third eye. Third eye blind. And that's basically what's happening to us these days. They're blinding our third eye. Anybody want to talk about that? Margaret, you want to touch
Annika? No, that's not my realm. Annika, you can take it away.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to talk about that. And, you know, with the opening of the third eye, wow. You know, I personally believe that when we eat live foods that are living, that we actually become even more living high vibrational beings. And what I mean by that is that when we are able to eat the foods that have life, that life is infused within our lives and gives us more life, which can impact the opening of the third eye. And the third eye is that ability to connect more deeply with spirit, and to elevate spiritual consciousness. And I can say from my experience that there has been a distinct difference in my spiritual elevation now since I have stepped into veganism. Because what I've learned is that when I was eating the dead, as I mentioned earlier, that as I was eating the dead, it was deadening my spirit. And so I wasn't able to receive those spiritual downloads that I need to actually step more into the spiritual consciousness that I'm seeking to step more into. And that's one of my personal goals, is to be as closely connected to the divine that I possibly can. And I've seen the difference. I've eaten meat like just about all of my life, except for the last year and a half. And there is a really big difference. So for those individuals, in my opinion, that want to explore spiritual awareness on a deeper level, and you want to be able to see the unseen and know the unknown, so that you can live your life as the best conscious human on the planet, then diving deeper into veganism, eating live, like I love how you did the raw food diet.
Exactly, yes.
I love that so much, because I eat a lot of raw foods too. And so if that is your goal, to be able to expand spiritually, opening the third eye and being more connected to the divine, veganism and a raw food diet is the way to go. Because you got to remember that when you eat live food, that you're actually becoming a little more alive yourself. That's just what I feel.
Yeah, with the enzymes, yes.
Yeah.
I apologize for the little mishap there. What I was trying to do was show the picture of the pineal gland in case people didn't know what the pineal gland is. So bear with me 1 second while here it is. You know, I don't get you. I swear. Oh, look at this. I don't know what happened here, but my thing has just gone bonkers. Anyway, the picture is not available, but the pineal gland is inside of the brain and it looks just like an eye. And the Egyptians used to have that, you know, have a picture of that. And they were wondering, what is that? Well, now we know, as Annika so graciously and eloquently described, that it is your third eye. It is your third eye, and it is the gateway to your spiritual awakening, like a real, and I can't even say this more emphatically, but it's a real spiritual awakening. When you really sit there and meditate, and when your pineal gland is clear, oh my gosh, sends you into third, fourth, fifth dimensions of life. Because us being three dimension, that's not all that there is to us. You know, that tree of life that runs down our back called our spine, it elevates us into a whole new dimension. But with all these foods and stuff that we're eating and ingesting, and you know, it's clogging us up, and too much mucus, and yeah, clean yourselves, clean yourselves. So yes, 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 thank you,
Good
thank
job,
you,
Marcia.
thank you, ladies. So I'm going to, I don't know what's going on with my screen. I really want us to take a break. Maybe we should just go right into meeting our guests, because my screen is all jacked right now. I don't know what's going on. So let us take a break. Oops, somebody is not mute. Let us take a little break and just readjust the screen share, because we're going to meet our guest here in a minute. She's going to tell us, each of them is going to tell us about themselves, about what they offer as far as their gifts to the world, what got them involved in this, and what upcoming events they may have, and what their offering is to you. So give me 1 second. Let me get my stuff going here. Yeah. And see, that was the pineal gland. Ladies, I don't know what this is. Look at that. Oh, that's all I had to do. Look at that. When you don't know, you just don't know, right? So here is the pineal gland that I wanted to talk about, that we have spoken about, and just to give you an idea of where it is located in the brain. And it shows up right here. It's part of the hypothalamus. Right. And it says pineal gland, and this looks just like an eye, which is why we call it the third eye. Right there. Yes. So that's really what I wanted to bring to the table. Woo! All in divine order. So let us meet our guests. Our first guest is Miss Annika. Annika, just tell us a little bit about what brought you to be an alchemical coach, and who do you serve, and yeah, what brought you to this gift to the world?
Okay, well, I want to say that I've been on this journey, this life journey, for quite some time, just like everyone else. But in 2012, that's when I had this, I was gifted with a lot of adversity. And I say that I was gifted with adversity because it was in the storm, it was in the chaos, it was in the craziness of what I was dealing with at that time that allowed me to open up the space for spirit to rush in and to help me to step into the fullness of who I am. And a lot of times, you know, we live in a world of polarity, so there's no light without darkness. And so that's how I really began to embrace the light, because I was dealing with so much darkness. And I want to say 2012 was when I went through so much, from death to divorce to joblessness to homelessness, all of this in 1 year. And it was through meeting my second husband, and you know, spirit using my ex-husband to help really save me from the darkness of despair. because I was dying and I was really going to facilitate the process of death because I just didn't see any way out of it. And so when he came along and in 2012 also, so I went through divorce, death, homelessness, all this kind of stuff, and got remarried in 2012, all in the same year. The space was open for me to breathe. And so in 2013 and 2014, I had to really become clear with who I was, and I had to really tell the truth about myself. And a lot of times the truth of who we are can be ugly because the ego want to keep us blinded, because the ego is designed to keep us protected. And I had to really get down and dirty with the truth of who I was. And I didn't like the woman that I was. And so in 2014, just after going through this inner exploration and this inner safari of learning who I was, that's when Goddess Evolution was born in 2014. And Spirit began to speak to me and give me all of these revelations in terms of my evolution. And that's why I named my company Goddess Evolution, because I feel like our spiritual expansion, it is not a destination, it is a journey. And we all go from, the Bible says we go from glory to glory. And so as humans, if we are, continuing with our progression, growing each day, being the best that we can be each day, doing the best we can every day in every way, eventually, as long as we're doing those steps, we will evolve into the highest expression of ourselves if that is our intention. And so I am aware that Goddess Evolution, that as women, we're not going to be the same woman that we was a year or 2 or 3 years ago. Hell, we may not even be the same woman that we was last week or an hour ago, because as women, we ebb and flow, we zig and we zag, and we are very cyclical beings. And so because we're cyclical beings and we're always shifting and changing, the process and the evolution of being a goddess is exactly that. So women, when they come to my program and when they step into my coaching program that I offer, I take the women from where they are at that moment, and I help them to see where they are at that moment. And where they are at that moment is perfect. Everywhere that we are is exactly the place that we're supposed to be based on the consciousness that we have at the time. So if women have a desire to expand the process of who they are, then I'm not necessarily here to teach them anything. I'm here to remind women of the powerful beings that they are. And whatever wisdom that I have to help facilitate that process, I allow myself to be used by Spirit to be a mouthpiece for women to have that experience. And so I don't go into any of my sessions or any of my offerings believing that it's Annika that's doing the work. I know that I am, as Mother Teresa says, she is a pencil used in the hands of God. I am a pencil used in the hands of God. I am a servant here offering to humanity a spirit of servanthood. And I realize that we're all one. There is no separation. We're all connected. So the more that I give and love and honor and respect everyone around me, the more that I give and love and honor and respect myself, because I am you and you are me. So when I step into the opportunity to be able to be that witness of a woman who awakens and she unfolds to her greatest majesty, her greatest magnificence, I'm just there to bear witness to that, because she has already been the woman she's looking for all the days of her life. I'm just here as a tool to help facilitate that.
Woosa. That was amazing. And you're absolutely right. We're not here to teach anybody anything. We're here to remind them how powerful they truly are. And yeah, I say that all the time. So thank you, Miss Annika. And your offering to us is?
Yes, I am offering to anyone who is interested, who resonate, who can feel my vibe. I'm offering to you a 20-minute alchemical coaching session where we would, have a conversation, because the process of alchemy is really just a process of transformation. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. And it's going from one form of something with the intention of elevating it to something of a higher form. It's not anything that, one thing is worse or bad or better than the other. It's just transformation. So I help women to transform if that's what they want to do. So it's a 20-minute consultation where I will make an assessment, where we will work in collaboration with one another, because this is a partnership. And women who come to me, I am a big proponent of holding women accountable. And what I've learned in my human journey is that a lot of times people will say that they want to do something, and they'll say that they want to do this, that, and the third. But then when you give them the opportunity to do what they said that they were going to do, then things change.
Yes.
So I'm really interested in women who are really seriously committed to their own spiritual expansion and evolution. I'm not really interested in women who want to be file cabinets of information, that they have all of the information, but they're not actually walking in the wisdom. I really want to be connected with women who are ready to not just say they want to be about doing the work, but actually do the work. And so that would be my ideal client, a person who is really serious and committed for their own spiritual expansion and evolution.
All right. You have any upcoming events that you want to share with us?
I do. I have. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes. Because I am a space holder for women, I do have a couple of things that I do for women who are in the Atlanta area. I teach alchemy classes here in the Atlanta area every second Saturday of the month at this bookstore called Phoenix and Dragon. So I teach workshops. The second thing that I do is, in addition to the alchemical coaching, is I am offering what's called my Goddess Mindset Intensive program. And it's all about changing your mindset. And you all have heard this before. You change your mind, you change your life. Everything begins in the mind. And the mind is our greatest battlefield. And if you don't become a master of your mind, you will become a slave to it. And so if women are looking for a way to escape the imprisonment of mental bondage, then my Goddess Mindset Intensive program will allow space for that. And then lastly, I am I'm taking a couple of women to Huatuco, Mexico for the summer solstice, which is in June, and the summer solstice is the exact midpoint of the year. And what I've realized on my journey is that when we take the time to really get present to the seasonal changes of the universe, then we're actually able to make those intentional steps towards elevation and growth. And so when we're able to be present to what's happening with the spring equinox, what's happening with the summer solstice, what's happening with the fall equinox, what's happening with the winter solstice, and we're able to celebrate those times through certain rites of passages and ceremony, then that's how we're able to actually experience a physical alchemical transformation in our spiritual being. So in June, that's what we're headed to do. I participate in a Mayan shamanic ritual in Huatuco, Mexico. So those are the offerings and the events that I have coming up, and I would love for anyone to reach out to me if they are interested in any of it.
June when?
June 18th through the 23rd.
Okay. It's a week-long thing.
Yes, and the resort that we're staying at, it is a 5-star all-inclusive resort. So it includes all of our meals, all of our drinks, and it also, the package includes the airfare along with the airport transfers from the resort to the hotel. So everything is included. So at the last time I checked the package prices, it was running for 5 nights around about $1,600. And so if, just to give people a ballpark figure of what they would be getting, all inclusive, 5-star accommodations, including air.
Love it. Love it. I will be reduced to a size, I don't know what, but I'll be in my 3-piece bikini. Is there such a thing? One for my third eye, one for my boobs, and one for my hips.
All right now. Love it.
Thank you so much, Annika. Thank you. It's
You're
been
welcome.
a pleasure having you here. And now our next guest,
Hmm.
Miss Margaret
Yeah.
Babb. Margaret, tell us a little bit about what brought you to Nature Shore Personal Care Products and what do you have to offer our guests and any upcoming events and how you got into this. Nature Shore.
Nature Show. As I said, for many years I have been a vegetarian, more than 35 years now. And I've always had this interest in health. So what I was doing too is making my own deodorant in my bathroom. Every morning, I'll mix my little concoction and use it. And I've been doing this for more than, I was calculating more than about 15 years now. And I realized, but if you're doing this for yourself, why don't you research and see if there are other people who are interested in natural products? And lo and behold, yes, there are other people who realize that the regular deodorants, the store-bought deodorants that they have been using, it's just masking the deodorants and the antiperspirant are just masking the smells, the body odor. And many of the ingredients there are not the best for the body, as we know that. And so I said, you know what, if I'm using it for myself and it has been working, yes, I can check. Yes, yes, yes. And I said, you know what, let me test it out with some family and friends and see how it's going. And lo and behold, it is going well. So come in at the end of April to May, I have to set that date. I would be having a pre-launch of my products, Nature Shore Personal Care Products, right here in the Brooklyn area. And if you visit my website at natureshorepcp.com, you will be able to get some more information concerning the upcoming pre-launch of my products. In addition, if you were to call me, if you were to email me at info@natureshore, there it is, natureshorepcp.com, you would be able to get samples of my deodorant. And more recently, I have been moving to perfumed oils because, as we know, when you read your labels, and I want all of my friends and family here to be aware, read your labels, read your labels. When you see something marked perfume or fragrance, listen, that thing is chemically made up and you don't know that. I wouldn't even begin to tell you what's in that. So there is something called perfumed oils. You use the essential oils with a carrier oil. It's very simple. And because they're oils, they last longer in your system and they are not harmful to your body. So if you were to contact me at info@natureshorepcp.com, you can get your free samples of deodorants and the perfume oils. That's it.
I was speaking and I was muted.
Uh-oh.
That is fabulous. Stupendous. Yes, she does care a lot about how you smell and using natural products. I have bought some of her products before, and yes, I'm telling you, they last you. They last you. So take her up on that offer. And I'm glad that you're going into natural oils. Yes, yes. I'm so happy about that.
Yes.
Perfumed oils, yes. So happy about that. Well, thank you for coming to the Speaker MC Show, and I hope that you had a really good time here tonight.
Most definitely.
Well, now we're at the end of our show, and I just wanted to remind you that on Saturday, that's this Saturday, the 24th of February, please, if you are in the New York area, if you know anyone who's in the New York area, have them visit us at our Champagne and Chocolates Conversation. That's right, Champagne and Chocolate Conversation. Not for the faint of heart, and it's adult conversation. No children, just adults. Ladies, please. And you can get your tickets at bit.ly/guest champagne chocolate. Guest champagne -chocolate. That's bit.ly/guest champagne -chocolate. February 24th, that's Saturday at 7 p.m. Tickets are $27 and $7 for an extra guest. Bring your +1 for $7. Yes. Now, I think we are at the 10 o'clock mark, and our next show will be March 5th at 9 p.m. and it's talking about fostering plantation. Yes, we're going to talk about the foster care system and how we have started treating each other because of money. Yes. I hope you had a wonderful time here tonight. And Annika, did you have a good time?
Yes.
I know we kept you up a little bit.
I had a ball. I had a great time. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being here. And Margaret, did you have a good time?
It was, thank you. I had a good time, Marcia. Thank you. It's always fun to be around you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And I hope that you ladies will be back for another show. I am so looking forward to having this interaction yet again. And now we're at the end of our show, and I've learned, just like Maya says, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I hope that not only have we informed you, but we have made you feel special, warm and fuzzy, and had some fun. So until next time, which is March 5th, join us on our Speaker MC Show, and we'll have some other guests. And here is the information for our ladies, our guests who are on our show tonight, Miss Goddess Annika and Margaret Babb. Please make sure you reach out to them. And until next time, good night.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you.